Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Kingdom Business Podcast. I'm your host, Erica Pyle. And today, friends, I have something so exciting. So exciting. So here's the thing. We have been talking about a sales system over the last few weeks. I know we were in mindset a few weeks ago, and then we were talking about offers and building your ultimate offer. And then we started talking last week about what is stalling your sales system. And so we started looking at the different pieces of a sales system. But I thought to myself over the last couple of weeks, what would be the most impactful way to help you here on the podcast? You know that we love to do done with you. You know that I am like, let me get in the trenches with you. Let me answer the real questions that you have. If you're an online business owner who's looking to make consistent sales in the coming year, especially if you're a coach, a creator, an online educator, it's like, how do you do that? How do you do it without the overwhelm? How do you do it without the tech tangle? How do you do it? And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to invite my very own secret sauce, my very own like secret weapon tech expert, Kat Surgeon, to come and join us so that she can talk from her perspective of what it's been like over the last, I don't know, we've been building things for the last, like, definitely the last 3 years, but I feel like we've been doing it much longer, probably the last 6 to 8 years, building out landing pages and different kinds of sales pages and things together so that we could hone in on this three-step Kingdom Business Sales Acceleration System that I'm going to be teaching about next week on my new workshop. It's called Ready for Sales. And so I know we've been talking about it, but listen, sis, you're starting to run out of time. Okay, just hear me in this. We go live on Tuesday for the official workshop. It's a 90-minute live interactive workshop. Is next Tuesday. But here's the thing: the pop-up community group, it opens today. And so we get inside of that pop-up community group and start talking. I'm going to get to know what kind of a business you have. Kat's in there, so she's going to start, noodling out like, ooh, how could these templates, how could these three steps work for these different businesses? Like, we love it because we start to get ideas because our biggest thing is like, how can we help these women to get implemented and get making consistent sales in the new year? And so the pop-up group it's going to open today. So if you're watching this live, like in the next couple of hours, if you have joined the workshop, you're going to be getting an invitation to join. And then we'll just be bringing people in as they join the workshop. We've also got some bonuses happening. So on Monday, we're going to have a kickoff session where I'm going to be talking about the kingdom identity that you've got to have as a Jesus girl entrepreneur who wants to make real sales in the new year. I believe that this is an identity issue. I truly do. And if there are blocks, there are mindset blocks, but specifically around what we think about ourselves, what we think we are if like we're trying to make money. And the deal is, if you think that making money is a bad thing, you will never be able to consistently make sales because you'll constantly be in the background tearing yourself down and saying that you're doing something wrong. When in reality, in order to be a great steward in the kingdom, you need to be a multiplier. That's what the parable of the talents talks about. So we're going to do that on Monday, and then Tuesday we'll have the official session, and then on Wednesday we're going to have the ultimate Q&A session. And what I love about this is that this is the place where if you had questions on the Tuesday during the session, bring them to the Wednesday because that's where we're going to be able to help you personally. We're going to be like, okay, this is how you would do it for your business. If you need ideas for like, how would I lay this out for my specific business? And what do you think I should do over here? That's what we're there for that day. Okay. So this is not just a once and done 90-minute one-way traffic webinar. It's not. We've got a group, we've got a kickoff session, we've got the main session, we've got the Q&A bonus session. It's going to be an experience, a done with you experience. So if you want to get signed up, it's just $17. Go to jesusgirlgang.com/ready for sales. jesusgirlgang.com/ready for sales. Okay. And if I could, let me recommend the upgrade. It's just another $17, but it gets you the extended replay. So you can have lifetime replay of the sessions. You don't just get the 90-minute session. You'll also get the kickoff and you'll get the bonus Q&A. and you'll have unlimited access, but you also get a workbook. And Kat and I just finished the workbook. And I know that sometimes when you do a workshop and people are like, oh, there's a workbook. So is it just like a glorified like notes journal? Oh no. What we're teaching you in the three-step system, every single wireframe, every single template is laid out for you in the workbook. So you don't have to, I've done it, shift command 4, do the screenshots. You don't got to do that. Just pay the $17. It's 17 for the workshop. Do the add-on. We'll send you the 20-page workbook. It has all of the documents in there so that you can like sit them on your desk and you can build out in your builder. And you also get lifetime replays so that if you need to go back and listen to something that we talked about in the workshop, you can do that. Okay? That's my recommendation. So go to jesusgirlgang.com/ready for sales. Okay. Now I'm going to introduce you to my friend, my partner in, I don't want to say crime, my partner in sales, surgeon. So you and I, Kat, we have been rolling together for nearly 10 years.
Yeah.
We've been building out stuff on platforms together for business for 6 to 8 years. Because I remember that's when we started. We got a platform and we started building things.
Yeah.
Wasn't it wild in the beginning?
Oh my gosh. So wonderful. We were
Now,
just doing whatever.
right? Like, and first off, I mean, the platform that we were on in the beginning it didn't give a lot of help.
No, no.
It's like the Wild Wild West. You're just
Yeah.
figuring it out, right? You're like, how do you make it move out a little bit? And then it's like, you can't just copy it. It was wild. But we started, working together, and I would say probably about 3 years ago, I think it was,
Mhm.
we really honed in on a system.
Yeah.
And that's when it was kind of like, okay, so now we know we just need to work the copy and the images, the hooks, the what we want to say, the messaging, right? But beyond that, we knew that we had these containers and we knew how to work the containers so that it would be, I like to say the stickiest, right?
Yeah.
Because you've got your ideal customer, you've got your person that you're looking to attract. And I think that there's even places in when you're building stuff out that the structure matters. Would you
Yeah.
say so?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because like you have a certain flow that you wanna hone in on, and if the thing is just put together all willy-nilly, like you're not gonna be able to capture the like your ideal customer, the leads that you really want. And so I would say yes, the structure is so very
Right?
important.
Because they get overwhelmed. People can get really
Yeah.
overwhelmed if something's cluttered or something is like weirdly placed, right?
Yes.
But before we even get into that, like I think most women who find themselves in the online selling space, but they're stuck, I
Hmm.
think a lot of times it has to do with the fact that they they like have all the things, but there is this level of overwhelm. Sometimes people call it cute, like the tech tangle, but like
Hmm.
tech overwhelm. But there's something to be said for order. There's something to be said, and you and I have that in common, right? Like I am a process engineer from birth, but also in training. That is my specialty, and that's what I have like my degrees and my work experience in is process engineering and management and testing process and
Hmm.
shifting process, right? But then we found each other, and you very much think that way too.
Yeah.
And what would you say to the person who's like, I just don't think that way? I just don't think that way. What would you say to the person coming in? Because I think like if you need to sell online,
Hmm.
especially now going into 2026, you need a system.
Yeah.
There is no post in a prayer in 2025 and beyond.
No.
Like stop with your Cash App and your this and that and like just hit me up, just drop me some cash and I'll send you. You need a system.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
would you tell them that what would you say to the woman who's like, it just completely overwhelms me and I don't know if I could handle it, but I know that I need to do it in 2026.
I would say that it would behoove you to find like a community or a group or a mentor or something like that where there is the opportunity for support, like real time like face-to-face
Yeah.
support. Because I find that and I know we'll talk more about this, but I find that a lot of women come into this and they may have all the systems in place, but they're just like, it's too much for me alone, you
Yeah.
know? Like I need to have at least someone like, okay, do this, this, and this. All right,
Yeah.
you did that. Now do this, this, and this, just
Yeah.
step by step, just a little bit of hand holding, it can make a massive difference for them.
Right. And what I think is so interesting sometimes is I don't know why this is, but new entrepreneurs, especially, we think that we have to do it all on our own. We
Right.
have to figure it out all on our own and we have to do it all on our own. And if for some reason we're not getting it, then it means that we're not smart enough or we're not resourceful enough or I must not be cut out for entrepreneurial because I'm not figuring this out. But would you say like the tech skills are very different from entrepreneurial skills, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So when
Absolutely.
people are coming into programs with us, um, like Ready for Sales,
Mhm.
what do you find is the thing that overwhelms them the most?
Um, they they don't want to do it alone. Like they feel like if I have to do it alone, I'm not going to do it.
Right? It's like I feel like I have to do it alone, but I don't want to.
Right,
I
right.
feel
They
like
don't,
there's some expectation that I have to, but seriously, deep down inside, I do
yep,
not want
don't
to.
want to. Or like they have these systems where it's just like they're overwhelmed by all of the options and the choices. And
Yeah,
so it's like inside like, a workshop like Ready for Sales, we're going to be like, "Hey, this is actually what you need."
yeah.
Like you don't have to go swirling off on some tangent with a million different things. Focus right here on these 3 to 5 things. Let's get this really good and then we can move on to something else, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, it's just reminding me of yesterday. We were talking with some of our tech team, and we were asking because we're working with another program, we're working with some people through a certain part of a platform that we have, and we were teaching them on it. And I just said, I looked at Kat at one point and I was like, we're not even going down that rabbit hole. Like, because we've learned, we have a very powerful system, a powerful platform that we work from,
Yeah.
but you do not need it all. You need a simple system that has a flow.
Yeah.
You need a system and a flow,
Yep.
system and a flow, and that's what automates it, right? And so I think that a lot of times one of the most powerful things that we do in our programs with women is we help them to understand just because it's there doesn't mean that you need to use it.
Right.
And quite frankly, you probably don't. You probably need 25%, 30% of what you have in the system. So I
Yeah.
would agree. Um, so let's chat about the three systems that every business needs, every online business needs to sell online.
Yeah.
So, in talking about the Ready for Sales workshop, I've been telling them about the Kingdom Business Sales Acceleration System.
Yeah.
But just so you know, because I know you listen, but we started out the podcast talking about the 5-step Build with Faith framework.
Hmm.
And so I think it would be important for the listener to understand that what we're talking about Ready for Sales, it's actually the L in build,
Yeah.
right? So the B is a biblical money mindset or entrepreneurial mindset. The U is the ultimate offer design.
Yeah.
Then we've got the I, which is ideal customer attraction. And then we have the L, which is leads to sales system.
Yeah.
Now, the leads to sales system that we're going to be talking about inside the workshop is the Kingdom Business Sales Acceleration System. But here's a little bonus. The D is done with you tech. So we're going to be throwing in a little bit of done with you tech on the workshop, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. But for right now, I wanted to just kind of unpack the three steps of the Kingdom Business Sales Acceleration System because we'll teach deeply into these in the workshop. It's the whole point about it, and then we'll
Yeah.
show them how to actually build it, which
Yeah.
is super cool. But I think people want to know what are the three basic steps that you have to have in a sales acceleration system? And it's very simple. Number one, you need a leads capture funnel.
Yeah.
You need a way to capture interested people, your ideal customer. You need a way to capture their information and get them on your email list, get them in your world. That's step one.
Yeah.
Step two is a nurture funnel, a nurture process. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a second. And then step three is a sales conversion funnel. So a sales conversion funnel, right? You've got to actually eventually sell them something, and that's how the sale happens.
Right.
So those are the three steps of the acceleration system. The sales acceleration system is you need leads capture, nurture, and sales conversion. And so in the workshop, we're going to break that down step by step. We're going to tell you a lot about each step, and then we're going to show you how to build it simply in a way that will actually work. Um, but let's talk about step by step. So this lead capture funnel. If you were to tell the people, like, what is the most important thing you think that you need to include on a leads capture page, like in an opt-in landing page, what would that be?
You've got to have a great hook and a really solid, like, transformational promise for your person.
Right.
Like, make them feel like, oh, if I sign up for this, it's going to solve my problem like that. Like, it's going to
Right?
go so fast, like
Yeah.
a quick win for them.
And I would just add wherever you're driving the people from to get to your landing page for your
Mhm.
opt-in, I like one of the little secrets that I like, I'm always talking to my team about is there has to be continuity.
Yeah.
There has to be continuity. So if you're going to do an ad or you're going to do an organic post to lead people to your opt-in, and let's say, and I've proven this in our ads this time around as we've been running ads, but it would behoove you to have the picture that you use and especially the colors that you use in the imagery of your post to be continuous as they click into the landing page. So the colors of that offer of that opt-in, or especially the image, because what I'm finding is that the image that I'm using from my ads or my organic posts
Mhm.
to the sales page for the ready for sales, that one is converting the best.
Yeah.
And so an opt-in page conversion means they opted in. They gave you their information and they received the freebie. And so it
Yep.
is a conversion of sorts. And so one thing to keep in mind if you want to convert more and faster is continuity all along the way. So you want them to feel like, oh, this is the same thing. Because if they come from a post that feels like one way, and then they go to something that looks completely different, different
Yeah.
colors, different fonts, different picture. Maybe you look different. They're like, wait a minute, am I in the right place? And that feeling is enough to be like, nope,
Yep. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, for real. Because if I'm looking at a post and I'm like, ooh, this looks interesting, and I click in and it takes me over to something that looks completely different, I'm like, did I just get spammed?
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
signing up for anything. Like, that's a hard no for me. Like,
Because
but
you're
if it
building
pulls all the way
trust.
through,
You're building trust.
right,
So between
exactly.
the hook and the transformation statement that you put at the top before you give the form and you ask them to give you their information, and then just that continuity, both of those pieces, I believe, impact trust the most. And it's important because if you can't get people opted in, I know all day long right now, people are talking about buyer first models, and I love a buyer first model. I have no problem going out and trying to get, buyer first to jump
Mhm.
on. But nevertheless, you still have to collect their information and get them on your email list. And it's a really good test if you can get them to take something for free from you. It's a really good test to get the motor running so that you can keep them moving through the sales acceleration system.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
crazy. So the next step is Nurture Hub. Now, I went off on this a few weeks ago. I'm gonna rant for a hot second. I'm gonna keep it short though. There's a lot out there right now on the internet, and it has to do with the buyer first model. And so there's a lot of marketing specialists, coaches, business coaches, and people that are talking about you shouldn't be nurturing people, or you're nurturing people too much. Okay, well, I would say that's not, that's subjective. Nurturing them too much. What does that mean? But there are people that are like, you shouldn't be nurturing your leads. You should be doing something else. And I would argue you cannot skip the nurture sequence. You can't because even if someone goes through your sales acceleration system in 2 hours, which is possible. I've had people listen to a podcast episode, click through, which by the way, my podcast is not my opt-in necessarily, but maybe they listened to a podcast episode and they opted in. But my podcast is my nurture, it's my content hub. It's my step two. But not only do I have it out here, say on YouTube or on the podcast feeds, I also have it on my blog, on my website. So they're clicking into my website and now they're seeing everything else that I have to offer. But they see the connected, this is my long form content, and then I'm directing them to ready for sales. And so then they click in, and I've had people who are like, "Oh my goodness, I found you on social. I clicked into a podcast. I saw you were doing this workshop and I joined the workshop." And that took them all of 2 hours. I still nurtured them
Yeah.
because they spent 20 plus minutes with me on the podcast. So if people are like, "Oh, you don't need nurture in your sales system," don't buy it. What they might be trying to say to you is that there's a faster way to get them through the nurture step. And I would agree. And I believe that the way we're going to teach this step is one of the ways because it's more consistent.
Mhm.
It like I know that there are a lot of little tricks that you can do to get people through the nurture system, the nurture step quicker. But for you and I, Kat, like we have a value of community building, would you say?
Yes, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I feel like the way we're going to teach step two, the nurture step, it really is aligned with our kingdom value for community. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so important. Um, I know that you've shared about this before. Like we're not meant to do things alone. And so community is a huge part of being able to actually, move forward in whatever God assignment you've been given.
Yeah.
Like you need other people in order to excel. And
Yeah.
so it's vital.
And like we hang and we simmer and we get to know one another and we create
Yeah.
cultural language together and like we get it, we understand one another. And so then we
Hmm.
go longer together on the journey. And so, the way that we're setting up step two, the nurture step, is through something called the Content Hub, which is basically a blog roll that you use for any type of long form content that you're creating. So it could be a blog post, right? But it could also be a podcast episode or it could be a video episode, and just consistently posting that to your content hub every single week or however often that you post it, right? Now, here's the thing. I've heard people go, "Ugh, I don't want to do a blog. I just want to do social media. I want to just drive people to my sales funnel through social media." And here's what I need to tell you. You cannot nurture on short form content. You
Yeah.
can't. Like on the off chance that you do a lot of clips from your long form and they're on your social media, I guess they could scroll through your social media for a good bit and get enough. But it's like living on samples. It's like
Yeah.
walking around Costco. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, you want people to be able to get some meat from you. And
Yeah.
that's why I believe that a content hub is vital for that nurture step because it sits there no matter whether you're awake or not. It
Hmm.
sits there no matter like the average lifespan of social media content is between 45 minutes and like 4 hours.
Wow.
When you're talking about SEO and you're talking about long form content that you hold on your platform, it's years. Like there
Yeah.
are people, and I mean it's true for YouTube too. It's like there are people that are monetizing videos that they've had on the platform for 6 and 7 years.
Hmm.
So you need long form content. But here's the thing, I've heard, and you know it, people are the minute you tell them, okay, we're gonna set up a blog roll, and they're just like, ugh. It's like, it's just so much work. Kat, is it really so much work to set up a content hub?
No. No, it's really not. Because it's something you set it up once, you know? You get a good framework and you set it up the one time. And
Yeah,
it's the same thing with like blog posting. Like you get a template that works for you and you set it up one time and then you just rinse and repeat, you know? It's like and it's automated and it's replicated and you just keep
yeah,
going. And
yeah,
so it you can make it very difficult, but really it's quite simple.
yeah. But here's the thing. I think that when we dig into that, what we come to find out is that our girl, when she's starting out and she's like throwing strategies at the wall like spaghetti,
Yeah.
and she's just strategy switching all the time, she's trying to figure out what's working. When you say, okay, you're going to do this, and then you're going to just do it every week and you're going to batch, people want to batch content or they want to be in a system, but then they're like, oh, but I'm overwhelmed by it. So it's like, no, 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 you don't understand. When we get your system set up,
Yeah.
and then it just becomes a rhythm.
Yep.
It doesn't feel doable for you because you don't have the container.
Right.
But once you have the container, then the actual weekly work that you have to do to keep it going, the stress goes way down, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. It's so
Yeah. So that's the nurture hub. And then the last step is the sales conversion funnel, right?
yeah.
And this is what people they traditionally think about when you tell them you're going to teach them a sales system. They think, oh, you're just going to teach me like a sales page and a thank you page or something, right? And it's like, well, that is the step. We've got another little piece in there for you.
Mhm.
But I believe that without steps one and two, it's really going to be heavy lifting to
Yeah.
get people because we wanted to see consistent sales.
Right.
So it's like you could run ads and you could be running ads consistently and spending a lot of money, and you might be able to get consistent sales through just the sales funnel portion. But if you want a real legitimate business that actually serves a community of people, if you want to show up and you want to have real connection and you want a business that has lasting power, you're going to want all three steps of the system. But with the sales conversion funnel, the three pieces of that we're going to teach on is the sales page,
Mhm.
right? The checkout page and the thank you page, right? Or the thank you confirmation page.
Right.
Um, I think what do you think is the most overwhelming to people in this step?
I think it's often like building out their sales page because they're just like, what do I include? What should it look like? How should it flow? Um, and and I think they like get too much in their head of what it needs to be, and then it never comes to fruition for them, you
Yeah.
know?
Because the thing is, like, I understand that sales is an art form, but sales is a science.
Yeah.
Selling is a science. And so if you can lock into, like we're teaching in the workshop, we're teaching a very specific template for your sales page. We're telling you what each section of the sales page does so
Yep.
that you know the psychology behind each section. And then it's like, if you understand that this is plug and play, right? So if you do it for one offer,
Mhm.
you can do it for the next offer. You just change out your colors. You're like, if you're going to change out your colors or your fonts, but your copy, your hook, your transformation statement, right? The pain points and things, just the messaging changes and maybe your images,
Yeah.
right? But other than that, it's like, this is the set system. And how have you, like, because done it together. Like
Yeah.
when you see women come in and we tell them, here's the format. Like, how many of them are just exhaling?
Oh my God. All of them. Like
Right?
really,
It's
they're just
like,
like, oh, it's like light bulbs go on, angels are singing because they're
right?
just like, I just needed the flow, I just needed the structure. And then
Yeah.
they can like pour their heart into the copy and the images and everything like that, which is really quite beautiful. They don't have to worry about like exactly how it's going to flow because that's already there for them.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's the thing. For me, that was one of my biggest breakthroughs when I was being coached years ago, is I was like, I don't know what to put on a sales page.
right.
And like everyone had their own idea and stuff like that. And it just finally got to the point where I was like, you know what? I get it now. Like there came to be a point for me where I was like, I am a process engineer and I understood enough about the science of selling and the psychology of selling that I was like, you know what? This will work. And anybody can use it. And now we have people that are using it and it's working. And it's
Yeah,
like, oh, it really does span.
yeah,
So, so there's that. There's the sales page and then the checkout and then the thank you page. And um, these can be like, even though it's the last step in the sales acceleration system, that last step really sets them up to have a great experience in the delivery of whatever it is that you're selling. And so it kind of hands you off into the delivery section. So, it's not just about making the sale. And I
right,
love that too, because it's about building a community where once you've sold them, they don't feel yucky about being sold.
right.
They actually feel supported.
Yeah,
Because we teach
yeah,
in our program, selling is serving when you do it right,
yes,
right?
absolutely.
So I want to kind of like touch on this last thing before we wrap up. Um, done with you. I feel like I am putting myself in such a situation where I could be ranting this whole episode. Okay, done with you.
Uh-huh.
You and I have only ever done with you offers.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
Hmm.
We have never offered anything where it was a recorded course and there was
Oh,
no
no.
live component. Not ever. And we're
No.
talking OG. We're talking back in the days of these people probably don't know this, but our listeners on this podcast, because it's a little bit of a newer podcast, but I am a certified holistic health coach. And so for a while, I was back in the day was doing these health programs, holistic health programs. And Kat and I were, creating all this for those programs like 8 years ago. And even back then, we
Hmm.
didn't ever just go, oh, here's a recording. Here you go. I couldn't imagine
Right.
it. But about 2 years ago, and I'm going to be talking about this in the workshop. I'm going to be talking about it in the first section of the main workshop. Just the atmosphere, the environment of sales right now online, the
Hmm.
state of online sales. About 2 years ago, something shifted and people stopped, like they were over it. They were like, stop telling me that you're going to do it with me and then giving me a replay bundle of videos that you're repurposing.
Yeah.
You did live at some point, but now you're just giving them to me. And I don't have any way to ask questions or figure out how to apply this to my own
Right.
business. That and I was like, I don't want to say a victim because like, come on, like we're talking about a course, but I fell prey to that. And
Yeah.
like, listen, I did not pay little dollars. I paid like thousands of dollars and then never talked face to face with the person who told me I was doing it with them.
Right.
And the thing is, like, I was like, okay, I kind of get it. I understand. You weren't clear that it was going to be your team necessarily for everything. You were not clear about that. You did say that there was team, but I didn't ever get to work with you. And that was weird. And then there were done with you components in that. So it wasn't all that bad, but it was like, we need to stop being misleading. If it's a set of replay videos, let's just be honest.
Right.
Let's just call it a replay library, right? But for me, I'm very passionate about done with you. And so when women get stuck, when they have taken the courses, they know what they want to build, they've purchased the platform. I feel like this is the place that not only do they get stuck, but Kat, do they get mad?
Yeah.
Like I just want to take myself out of it for a moment because I know I do. But like what have you experienced as we've had people come in? Like they're
Yeah.
shocked, right?
Yes. Like, and it's so interesting having women come in and be like, is this really done with you? Like oh, we're actually getting on calls together live at 7 o'clock this evening. Okay, cool. Wow. And like for me, I'm just like, this should not be surprising. Like, but they've been had.
Yeah.
So I can totally understand it, but they come in like, yeah, like sort of burned
Yeah.
that, I signed up for this thing and it wasn't at all what
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be,
Yeah. And especially like with platforms, right? So you
Yeah.
have people who come in and they're on different platforms and stuff, and they're frustrated because they have is chat support, right?
Right.
And you're like, no, we have done with you support. And Kat hosts something within our platform community called Tech Tuesday. And she literally gets on a video on a Zoom with the community members for at least an hour every Tuesday. There's a form that you can fill out to ask your questions. You can drop screenshots. And here's the thing, you get on the Zoom, like people share screens.
Yeah.
Like they're like, this is what we need help with. And Kat just gets in there and she helps, right? That's on our platform program. We're not doing that in the workshop, but
Yeah.
it's just to say, like, when we say done with you, like that's why when I'm like the ultimate Q&A, it's not just going to be me answering a bunch of like most frequently asked questions or Kat and I just talking to one another. No, 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 no. You're going to get on with us and you're going
Yeah.
to be like, okay, that page that you were talking about, how, like, what would this is my business. Like, what do you think that should look like? And
Mhm.
These are in one of our pages, there's optional sections. So you could be like, well, should I be doing that optional section? And if so, what do you think I should set it up like? And we're there. We're like, all right,
Yeah.
let's talk about it, And it's like, let's do it. So I just really want to encourage you, when you're looking at something and it's saying done with you, ask the question, is there a place where I can ask questions live during the program while it's going on? Where do I connect with the people who are delivering this program so that I can ensure that my questions get answered for how this applies to my business and my life?
Yeah.
That's my best set of advice, right?
Hmm.
But for you, Kat, like, could you imagine doing it any other way?
No. Like,
I feel like, I mean, this is the place where you shine. And this is why I'm so excited to have you on the workshop with me
yeah.
because you absolutely love this, don't you?
I love it. Like being able to get into like the nitty-gritty details with these ladies and and not just like get into the details, but actually solve problems for them every single week. And like they're coming off of the call feeling so empowered. Like there have been moments where they're like, I'm stuck here because I don't know how to make this particular thing work. And we get into it together and we figure it out. And they're like, yes, now I can move forward. And I'm just like, yay, I'm so excited that I got to help you with that, you know?
And it doesn't take a lot. It just takes
No.
being live, a little face to face once a
Yeah.
week. And now they're working on their stuff throughout the week. And then they pop back on Tuesday and you keep on going with them?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for us, especially in the workshop, what done with you means is that you're going to be given strategy, examples, and real-time support.
Yeah.
That's what we're offering inside the Ready for Sales workshop. So, and Kat and I are going to be there together. And so if you've listened through this and you're like, you know what? That's me. That's what I've been struggling with. I need a strategy.
Yeah.
I need examples. I need to know how this works for me. And I need some real-time support when we're in the workshop week so that I can really get this figured out and get moving. Then, sister, do not delay. You need to jump into Ready for Sales, get in there, hop into the workshop group with us that's opening tonight, and let's get moving together. So go to jesusgirlgang.com/ready for sales. And we would love to see you inside of there. Kat, what would you say to anyone who might be like on the fence or wondering if this is for them?
I would say it's for you. Stop wondering, stop figuring. Like if there's anything in you that is like if even if it's a passing thought of this might be able to help me,
Yeah,
do it's $17.
I know.
Do it.
And they're getting like
And
hundreds of dollars of value.
oh my gosh, like there's I mean the workshop's going to be brilliant. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a part of it. Like I know the material that's going to be presented and I have seen firsthand how walking through this system has helped so many women. And so I'm just like if if you're really serious about like going to the next level and making consistent sales in 2026, then yeah, do it.
No brainer, right? No brainer.
Yeah.
Now, on the podcast, we always give a mini activation step each
Mhm.
week because you know me, done with you. And so remember, you guys, if you need to get a hold of me, come over to Instagram. I'm at Erica Pyle. So just get into my DMs. Let me know that you've been listening on the podcast. If you have any questions, let me know there. But also, when we're doing the mini activation step, this week, I just want to go deeper into what we worked on last week because the reality is, if you didn't take me seriously, this is the work that you need to do if you're coming into the workshop. There's three questions, okay? Number one, how am I currently capturing leads? Number two, how am I currently nurturing my community? Like encouraging, educating, helping them to move along towards what I have to offer. And number three, how am I inviting people to purchase what I have for sale? I really want you to ask yourself those questions because if you don't have these three steps set up as a system in your business, then you really do need Ready for Sales. And if you have them, but you don't know how to use them, then you really do need Ready for Sales. And if you have them and you kind of know how to use them, but you're overwhelmed by them, then you really need Ready for Sales. because we're going to show you how to do it, how to build it, and how to not be overwhelmed by it and get it running so that you can be making consistent sales in 2026. All right. So that's the homework. That's the mini activation step for this week. And then I think the big assignment for the week is go get signed up for Ready for Sales.
Yeah.
Businessgirlgang.com/ready for sales. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Kat, thanks so much for being here. This was fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was
Again,
great.
right? But we're
Yeah.
going to get to work with so many of these lovely ladies next week during the workshop. So
Yeah.
looking forward to doing that with you.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's going to be good.
I'm excited.
All right, friends. Well, that's what we have for you this week. And hope to see you inside the workshop. But nevertheless, I will see you next week, same time, same channel here. And we'll get into another topic